Hey everyone, today I'm covering pet food labels. The reason I'm doing this is there's so much controversy about what you see on those bags and what's actually in the food. What's healthy for your pet and what's not. So let's get into this and talk about different things on the bag that you need to look for and understand what they actually mean. I'm not going to cover everything, but I am going to cover a couple of the little buzzwords and stuff that you typically say. I'm going to jump right into it and talk about byproducts. Byproducts created a huge controversial nightmare for veterinarians and pet food companies a few years ago when a pet food company decided to create a marketing campaign against byproducts. And yes, it was all about marketing. Byproducts are actually not bad for your pet. They are the organs that are rendered after the pet was already slaughtered. And what does that really mean? That means the kidneys and the liver and the blood and the spleen. Everything your pet would actually like. And it's also high in protein. It's also nutritionally balanced for your pet. So if you're seeing byproducts on your dog food, it's not something to steer away from. It's actually a great protein source and it's a lot cheaper. Now let's talk about meat meal. So chicken meal, lamb meal, stuff like that. These are tissues of the animal that are actually cooked and then the dry parts are put into the food. That's it. Along with if you get chicken byproduct meal, it's basically just the byproducts that I've already discussed, cooked and put into the food. It's not anything different. And all these sources of food are good for your pet. They are high in protein. So it is something that I wouldn't steer clear from for my own pet. If you see on a bag of dog food, natural, what does that mean? Well, basically to put natural on a dog food or a cat food bag or can, every single ingredient cannot be chemically synthesized. So there are some processing ways that you can process the food, but they can't be chemically synthesized. And if any of it is, it's a misleading label. So you have to be cautious about where you're reading this, because if there's any ingredient that's chemically synthesized, the label is misleading. So when you're looking at the bag, you may also look at organic. And organic is pesticide free. I believe it's for 3 years. The animals were raised outdoors. They were fed with organic food, stuff like that. When you look at these bags, if you want to look for a true organic food for your pet, you want to look for the USDA seal stating that it's organic, because in 95 to 100% of the ingredients are actually organic. If it doesn't have that seal, just maybe one part might, or one ingredient might be organic, but the rest all might not be. So that seal is definitely a way to say, is the food actually organic? Now, if you pick a food that's not organic, does that mean it's any worse for your dog? No, it does not. I feed my dog a food that's not organic and she does great. And I fed my old dog the same thing for 16 and a half years. So it doesn't mean that the food is bad, but if that is something that you truly want to feed your pet, look for that seal. If you don't see that seal, then something in that food is not organic. Now, so we talked about, byproducts, meals, byproduct meals, organic, natural, but when we're actually looking at the food, like what's in a true name? Like what does it actually mean? So you're sitting here and you're looking at 2 different bags, and one says chicken dinner for dogs, one says chicken dog food for dogs. So when you look at these, what does that mean? Is it the same thing? It's not, in fact. So when you look at something and it says chicken dog food, you're looking at a product that 95% of the product is chicken. And it's not only that it's chicken without water. So when you're adding water to the food, like then 70% of the food needs to have chicken in it. So that's the one thing. So that's chicken dog food. But when you're looking at dog food with chicken, it's a whole different thing. So dog food with chicken means that it's dog food, but there's some chicken in it. And that's a minimum of 3%. That doesn't mean that every food that says dog food with chicken has 3% chicken in it, but that's the minimum that it's required to have that label. If you want it to look something that has a little bit more chicken, you can look for chicken dinner for dogs. And chicken dinner for dogs means that 25% of the food must have chicken in it without water. If it has water, it's 10%. So when you looking at chicken dog food, chicken dinner dog food, and dog food with chicken, those three statements mean three huge different things. Hugely different. So it's something where you wouldn't know that unless somebody told you. So, when you want to look for food, the best thing to look for is obviously the chicken dog food, but if you're looking for some other options, that's how much is in there. So the last one I want to talk about is the flavoring situation. So if you have a dog food that says beef dog food with chicken flavoring, kind of sounds gross, but let's just go with it. So you have a dog food that has 95% beef in it without water, or 70% beef with it with water. So you have that, but what does the chicken flavoring mean? So basically, they just have to be able to taste the flavor. It doesn't mean there's chicken in it. It just means there's a flavor of chicken, and it doesn't have to be even chicken at all. So anytime you see flavoring, it's just a flavor. It doesn't mean they threw chicken in there on top of it to flavor it, but they have something in there that will somewhat taste like chicken. If you have any questions about pet food and what to feed your pet, the best recommendation is going to your veterinarian. And I know that there's a lot of companies that have people in the pet stores to go over the food, but it is recommended to go to your veterinarian. And the reason for that is they do have continuing education in nutrition. They do have nutrition in their schools, and they are not, although this is, something that many people say, they are not receiving kickbacks from certain companies. And that's something that I'm, when I hear that, it gets a little bit upsetting because I don't receive any kickbacks from companies. I don't even sell pet food, but I send you to the store to make sure that you buy the appropriate food for your dog or cat. So it is something that, talking to your veterinarian first before going is always super important. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to add anything to the video, absolutely drop a comment below. And always don't forget to subscribe so you can actually get a notification every time I drop a new video.